Hey y'all, BeetsMotel here, back after a very long hiatus, getting the channel back up and running. This is kind of just the first video back, kind of going over what my anticipation for next year is, with it being November. We're coming up here on the end of 2023, and I want to make 2024 the year for this channel. So kind of going over what my anticipations for 2024 are going to be. Number one thing I really want to do, sorry, my books are out of order here. I want to deep dive into Stephen King. I want to read all of his books from Carrie all the way up to his newest one, was at Holly, in publication order. I haven't decided if I'm going to throw the Richard Bachman books in there yet. I kind of guess I'll decide as I get there. Even if I have read the books, I want to read them again in order. Starting off with Carrie, Salem's Lot, The Shining, Night Shift, all those. I will be honest with you, I'm not a big fan of short stories. Just never have been really. But I want to deep dive into those as well, just because I know those are, there's some tie-ins with The Dark Tower and all that, and that's what I'm basing this whole read around, is The Dark Tower, and I want to read every book in publication order. Side note, as you can see here, the scenery is different here. Have a new office kind of set up here. As you can see, it's a mix of all kinds of different things. I got like a signature autograph over here, some horror stuff. Eventually, I may kind of go over what my office looks like, but that's neither here nor there. Anyways, next thing I want to do in the year 2024 is I want to read more fantasy and science fiction, mainly fantasy series or fantasy books. So 3 things I want to dive into in the year 2024. I want to deep dive into the Lord of the Rings, and not just the the Hobbit, the Fellowship of the Ring, the Two Towers, and the Return of the King. I want to deep dive into all of it. I'm talking about the history of Middle Earth, volumes 1 through however many there are now, that Christopher Tolkien is kind of pushing other stuffs out. The nature of Middle Earth, the Baron and Luthien, all those, Bilbo's last song, all these I want to deep dive into this series. I kind of anticipate to kind of annotate it as well, highlight it, actually buy the physical copies, not just read them on my Kindle. While I do love my Kindle, I don't like making notes in here on my Kindle. I like actually having the book so I can highlight stuff and put tabs there, which I've never been a big fan of and I've never really done, but that is something that I really want to do, is just deep dive into that. Sorry, still first thing in the morning here in Texas. The second thing that I want to deep dive into is the Stormlight Archives by Brandon Sanderson. I read the first book, The Way of Kings, 3 or 4 years ago. I kind of remember bits and pieces, but not a whole lot. I checked this morning where he's at on the, was it the 5th or 6th book? It shows he's 88% through writing it, so I want to start deep diving into that series and kind of reading that. I won't read the whole Cosmere as far as like Mistborn and all that, but I do want to read the Stormlight Archives, just because that first book, I remember enjoying it so much, but I do want to deep dive into that. And my big thing that I want to focus on for the year of 2024, and this is going to be a big undertake for me, is Malazan. I want to read this. I have every single book in the original series, the first 10. I have read this one. I got about 40 pages into, what is it? Sorry, I have them over here. The second book. And I put it down, and I know I probably could start the second book up and kind of be just as lost if I didn't read this first one again, but I want to read this again. I want to read all of these, and I know this is a lot to undertake for 1 year. I don't anticipate to read this whole series in 2024, but I'm hoping if I put this out here on YouTube, I'm hoping not only will other people try to read it with me, hoping it'll keep me held accountable for trying to finish this series and get a good way into it. I mean, I want to say I could finish this first book. I mean, it's only about 600 some pages. I want to say I can finish that in a couple weeks, but having read this beforehand, I know it'll probably take me a month to read this, so this will definitely be one that when I do pick up, I want to take my time with it and try to soak as much in as I can. I remember loving this book by the end of it. I'm hoping, this being my second read through on this book, that I'll pick up on a little bit more and notice a little bit more. But we'll see. Like I said, I just wanted to come back and bring the channel back. And kind of get things going again. Part of the reason I do this is not only to talk about books with other people, because while I love my wife, she's not the biggest reader, and I love talking about books that I'm reading, that I've read, kind of stuff that interests me. But I also want to be held accountable. If I say I want to finish, I want to read this series, I want to read it. I've always been a bit of a mood reader, so I'm hoping this will kind of break me of that habit. If I try to plan stuff out, keep a little bit more to it, I will probably, in all honesty, set 4 books, maybe 5, depending on how thick some of the books are, per month. That way, if my mood's not telling me, hey, I really don't want to read Malazan, but I kind of want to read this other book instead, I'm still reading throughout the month. I'm hoping weekends are going to be a big one that I can get through some books. Like I said, just wanted to bring the channel back. I know we've picked up a couple of subscribers since I stopped doing videos. I want to thank you. If you've been a subscriber for a long time and kind of been wondering where videos are or forgotten about me, I appreciate you for hanging in there and still being subscribed. Like I said, just comment down below, what are you reading? What are you anticipating on reading before the end of the year? What are you going to try to read next year? Like I said, I just want to have a community where we can kind of talk and not only, discuss books, but possibly other things. As you can see, I love horror movies. So if you're kind of interested and want to talk about that in the comments, I'd be more than happy to do that as well. I like to go to the conventions that we have here in Texas and whatnot. Like I said, leave comments below. I want to get us all talking about books. Even if y'all don't read Malazan with me because you don't want to or you've already read it, I'd be more than interested in, kind of conversing with you and kind of seeing what you think, and kind of bouncing some ideas off you. Obviously, I don't want any spoilers. But like I said, that's the big things that I really want to kind of undertake in 2024 is Stephen King, Malazan, Stormlight Archives, and I'll throw some other books in there too. I've been reading the Walt Longmire series right now. I'm about into book 8. I've read a couple of short stories in there as well. So I will post some videos on those as well. On this, it's a great series if you haven't read it, and I'll get into that more as I kind of review those books. But again, it's great to be back. I'm hoping that some of y'all will kind of, like I said, converse down in the comments. Looking forward to talking with y'all. Y'all have a great day.